Let's talk about confidence. Season 2, Episode 4, Confidence Across Cultures. Welcome back to Let's Talk About Confidence. I'm John M. Walsh, and today I'm joined by someone whose story I think will resonate with a lot of you. My guest today is Raman. A few years ago, she left everything familiar, her home, family, culture, and moved from India to the UK to start a new marriage. She found herself suddenly in a world where everything was different. The people, the ways of working, the culture, and the confidence she built up over a lifetime was shaken almost overnight. What I love about Raman's story is that it proves something I talk about a lot in this podcast. Confidence is not a permanent state. It can shift, it can be lost, and most importantly, it can be rebuilt. Over the past 2 to 3 years, Raman has done exactly that. She's now a full-time HR professional and a new mum. Raman, welcome.
Thank you, John. Really excited for this.
Now, you mentioned a wee bit about what I thought was a lovely story, is how you met your husband, took a leap of faith. Would you mind just sharing that with us?
Yeah, sure. So we were introduced by a common family friend, and my husband, he's born in the UK, raised here, and I was in India. I think initially we both were really reluctant because I didn't think that I will resonate with somebody who is not born in the same culture that I am. But then we started talking to each other, and then we realized that we share same values, and it will be an interesting life because there are so many things that I can learn from him, he can learn from me. He's somebody who is very connected to the culture back in India, even though he was raised here. So he was interested in that part of me, and I saw some really good qualities in him that I wanted in my life partner. So initially what we thought, we'll just talk for 2-3 days or maybe a week, and then we'll just say, okay, I think that's all. But we started enjoying it. And then a few months later, he came to India to see me. We spent a few days together, and then we decided that we will take it to the next step, and we got engaged. And a year later, I had to come here because it was still COVID time. And then we got married.
Wow. Yeah. And before we sort of get into the UK and all that, just take me back to India. What was your life like there, and what did confidence feel like when you were there?
Talking about India just brings so many memories back. I think India is a universe in itself. You will find everything just in India, like different landscapes you can think of, different climates, everything. So it's very diverse and at the same time very inclusive. I come from a family of mostly police officers and military people, so discipline has been a really big part of my life. I think that's something that when now I look back, I can connect that with my confidence.
Oh, yeah.
It looked different from the confidence that I have now. But yeah, I had my own journey back then as well with confidence. So, yeah.
It's interesting. You get what you get from your family, isn't it? It's like,
yeah.
And when you made the decision to come to the UK, how did you feel? Were you excited, nervous, or did you think it'd just be fine? What did you think?
I didn't really think about moving to the UK, honestly. Yeah. I just thought that I'm marrying this man, and we'll see what happens. I think the decision was to get married to him, and the side effect was that I had to move to the UK. So I was just really excited. I would say that, when they say ignorance is bliss, that just perfectly suits my situation. Yeah.
That's brilliant. And it's the biggest shock, you think, what was it, so you moved to UK, what's the biggest shock that you went, okay, this is different?
I think the first realization happened when I landed here. All of a sudden, faces changed, how people talk, that changed, infrastructure changed, weather especially changed. But I think initially I was still in that touristy mode. I was just enjoying, being in a new place. There were times when I didn't feel really confident, but I was not thinking very deeply about it. When I first moved here, the first few weeks were all just being in the excitement.
Yeah. And in terms of the cultural differences, how did they affect you? You know, like, I don't know, communication styles or workplace norms or social expectations? Was there anything that caught you off guard?
Yeah, I think once I started settling down and I realized that this is my new life, that's when it started hitting me hard, really hard, that, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this. One thing that was happening inside my head, which I didn't really realize, was, I think, the history between India and England. The colonization effect that was really, deeply affecting me, and I didn't realize that for a very long time. And I think that was very exhausting. I didn't feel comfortable doing things that I was normally very comfortable doing. For example, I was very independent, loved going out by myself, going to the movies, going for lunch. And all of a sudden, I don't want to, take a bus. I don't want to go out for a walk because I felt, oh my God, what if somebody says something to me and I don't know what to do? So, yeah, I think slowly it became really difficult for me. The communication style, as you mentioned, was different, even though I knew the language, but there are local words or there are lingos that you're not familiar with. So all of a sudden you start feeling very stupid, like, I don't know what this person really said. I don't know how to, reply back to them. Work culture, when I started working, it was for the good, I think, but it was still a change. I had to kind of settle down in that change as well, even though I think that the work culture was better than what I had before. Social expectations was the biggest one for me. I felt that people had their stereotypes sometimes, and I felt the pressure to break those stereotypes. I couldn't feel like myself among new people. I felt that everybody's seeing me through some lens. And that was very exhausting and took really big toll on my mental health as well. Yeah.
It's funny, I don't suppose many people would think about the fact that it struck me when we were talking earlier about this confident life you had in India. And it makes total sense to me now. You would go to the movies, you could walk, you would go out, wherever, go for lunch. Whereas you come here and all of a sudden, basic things that you enjoyed suddenly become, am I sure about that? So it makes total sense. Did you feel that you could talk to anyone about how you were feeling, or did you have to keep it inside?
Yeah, I think my husband has been really supportive in all of this. He's a very good listener. But there were times when I didn't know, what's actually happening. How do I go and tell him that I don't want to go for a walk because I feel like, I don't know, somebody's going to come and stab me. I don't know. But yeah, I had those thoughts. I couldn't go to town by myself. I always wanted somebody to come with me. But yes, definitely, I can go and talk to him. But there were times when he couldn't relate to those things because he didn't know what I'm going through exactly. And when I started working, then I made friends at work and I could tell them that these are the things I'm going through. And it was new information for them as well, that we never thought about these things, and they become more sensitive towards that. I would say that there were people in my life I could go and talk to, but there were some times when I had to talk to myself and try to get out of that mindset.
Did it help talking to others? Was that?
It did. I think it helped me settle down when I saw that people are actually exactly the same everywhere in the world. You get good people, you get bad people, and that's everywhere. And I can't get myself stuck because of those bad people. It has nothing to do with me. It's their own insecurities. And I have to focus on the good. And it really helped when I started talking to other people that this might sound very stupid to you, but this is what I feel when I, go to the town or when I come to the work. But when I started seeing that people actually regard my emotions, it started feeling lighter to me.
No, that's good. It's interesting. Was there a kind of a point, or a turning point that you could pinpoint where you went, okay, I think I'm finding my feet now? What was it?
I think there firstly came a time when I felt really stuck in that phase where I couldn't relate to myself. I felt the pressure to prove to other people that, the stereotypes that you have, they are absolutely wrong. If I understand that you might know India from a different angle, but it has changed now, or it is not what you think it is. We don't live under a rock. I felt so pressured that I have to prove people that this is not how it is. But that somewhere was taking me away from myself, because I was always trying to prove something to everyone. Once I realized that I have to stop this, I have to start living my life, that's when things started changing for me.
And what was it that you started to do then to sort of rebuild your confidence?
Firstly, I tried to make myself familiar with the world here. So I started taking very baby steps, small steps. The first thing I remember which I did was I found a yoga studio, even though I never did yoga in India, but I felt yoga and we come from India. So this will feel, like home.
Yeah.
So, and then I took the bus for the first time.
Yeah.
I remember I missed the bus few times, and then my husband had to explain me that this is how you take a bus here. Yeah. I took the bus for the first time. I went to the yoga studio. I started, going there quite often. And then after that, I felt that, if I want to become familiar with people here, I have to learn how they communicate. So I did some voluntary work at a charity shop for a few months. That helped a lot. And then when I felt like, okay, I have kind of, find my place. And then I started thinking about my career. And again, there I took really small steps. Even though I had my degrees from India, I could have applied for a job straight away. But then I felt if I want to go to human resources, it's all about humans. Yeah. So you have to learn how to deal with them, how to talk to them. And I'm really alien to that right now. And the human resources has, policies and procedures. I don't know anything about that. So I decided to do my CIPD qualification. Yeah. And my husband suggested that maybe with that you can have some practical experience. So let's just apply for some internships. And I started doing both. And that's how I got back into my professional life as well.
Wow. What's it I think is inspiring is you had the courage to take those steps to volunteer in a shop and help to take even the yoga. I think it's funny, isn't it? But you went, right, I'm going to put myself out there. And part of that is, taking a bus, which is to someone who's aware of this culture. That's something that they may have done in their childhood and they know. But all of those things, I know to some folks, it may seem strange, but I think to a lot of people it resonates that these are the kind of courageous small steps people have to take to build a confidence like you did.
Yeah.
And then this bit where you go from intern, so you get the job as intern, and you go from intern to full-time HR professional.
Yeah.
And how did that help? How did growing your career help your confidence?
So I applied for an internship and I got the internship, and I thought I'm going to complete my CIPD in 1 year and my internship will end in 1 year, and then I will start looking for a permanent job. But then I was offered the job before my internship ended, and that was such a big boost to my confidence because I didn't expect that to happen. That kind of reinforced the belief in me that I can do it, and I have to some level proved that I can do it. But I think I was just taking one step at a time. I was just taking one day at a time and doing that. And when I got the permanent role, the responsibilities changed because as an intern, you do have responsibilities, but it's not a very, you're not under a lot of pressure. And all of a sudden, I have new responsibilities. So I built some confidence to start that job. But then I needed more confidence to do that job. So again, the new journey of building confidence started from there. Again, one step at a time. I learned everything from scratch. My managers helped me a lot, and that's how I'm still building my confidence. Yeah.
And then on top of all this, you become a mom.
Yeah.
How's that affected your confidence, both personally and professionally?
I don't want this to sound like I have a very difficult life, but I think moving countries and motherhood has been the two most difficult things I had to do in my life. I didn't had a really the experience I had in the hospital was not really great. I had a traumatic birth experience, which shattered me into a million pieces, and then I had to rebuild myself again. But now when I look back, I feel like that has been one of the biggest blessings in my life. I have become much stronger, braver person. And my perspective about life has changed. Everything is now very clear to me, what I want to do and what I don't want to do in life. I don't want to just, waste my time in doing things that are not going to serve any purpose in my life. It's just very clear to me that my daughter is my North Star. Everything just has to revolve around her. Actually, when she was few months old, I created a wallpaper for my phone, on my phone. It says that I'm her biggest example. My actions shape the world she grows into. I choose wisely with love and intention. Wow. So that's kind of my mantra now.
That's amazing.
Yeah. That's
amazing. And that comes from what sounds like adversity, where you didn't have the best experience, but from it you've came out what sounds like stronger, which I think just amazing. And it's this, I guess, has that given you that wee bit more of a different perspective on confidence?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, because again, with motherhood, I still remember when I had to change my daughter's nappy for the first time, I started crying because I didn't know how to do it. And I thought that's very basic. You will know how to do it. And I never tried learning that before her birth. But then I think that was the last time when I cried about not knowing things. Every time I didn't know how to do it, I thought this is an opportunity for me to learn something new and build my confidence. So, for example, I wanted to breastfeed her, and I know people say it's natural and it just happens naturally, but no one just tells you how to do it. I took that again as an opportunity. I found an online lactation consultant. I did a session with them. And from there, it was just very easy for me to do that. And I think I just used that approach. Since then, I'm using that approach. And even at work, even at home, if I don't know something, that's an opportunity. So, yeah.
That's brilliant. And how do you balance your demands now? You've got the new baby, you get a career in HR, and relatively new, still newish to the country. Where does your confidence come from now, Raman?
My confidence now, I think, comes from the fact that I can learn it. Yeah. It's nothing that, it's not rocket science. I can figure it out. And even if I feel that I don't have any confidence right now, I now know from my experiences that I can reach there. And when it comes to balance, I think everyone's balance looks different. For me, the balance right now is that I want to spend more time with my daughter, so I'm prioritizing that. But initially, I felt guilty that, oh my God, I can't, give my full time to my job. But then I started learning how to be more efficient with the time I get to work. So I work lesser hours, but I'm more efficient now. I think I'm still learning, but I think I've learned to become more efficient with the time I have at work. And then I get to spend more time with my daughter. And I think when I have to bring myself into the picture, being new to the country or having time for myself, I think it's very important that you and your partner talk about it. It shouldn't be someone's default responsibility when it comes to motherhood or anything. So we talk about it a lot, and then we figure it out together. If plan A doesn't work, we go to plan B, or we create plan B. I think that's how we are trying to create the balance.
Wow.
But yeah, I think now I have started doing Pilates.
Yeah.
So this is something new I wanted to
do. Still doing yoga as well?
Yeah, so I think
yoga, Pilates.
So that's how I keep on meeting new people. When I feel like, okay, I know the people here now, I need a new challenge, I go to the next thing. So it's Pilates now.
Brilliant. And it's keep challenging yourself. That's what I think is so good.
Yeah.
When you look back over these last few years, what do you think you've learned most about confidence that you didn't know before you came to the UK?
I think back in India, I thought confidence is something that only people who are extroverts, they have, or people who are perfectionists, they have. One big change happened to me when I actually for me, most of my initial confidence came from my parents. Like, I think most people, you either get it or you don't get it from them. And I thought my parents somehow know what to do exactly and when to do it and what to say to certain people. Yeah. And I thought, I don't think I can ever have that. Yeah. And then I think a few years ago, I started actually seeing that they also make mistakes. Sometimes they actually don't know what to do. Yeah. They don't have the confidence, but they just do it. Yeah. Whatever they think is the best thing to do. And that changed my perspective about confidence a lot. I think now I feel with my own experiences that confidence, the actual confidence is much quieter. You know, it doesn't have to make you stand out always. No. And it comes with resilience, maybe, for me at least. I think it comes with resilience. Yeah.
Wow. If there's someone listening to this that's going through the same or something similar to you, maybe they've moved to a new country, started a new job, or they just feel like they've lost their confidence, what would you say to them?
I would say you have already taken the biggest step. Take one step at a time. Don't overthink. And if you have made the decision, just do it. Don't try to be perfect. That's something that I had to learn, that perfectionism and confidence, they have nothing in common. Just do it. Even if you make a mistake, learn from your mistakes and you'll be better next time. But take one step at a time and you will reach there eventually. If I can do it, I think anyone can do it.
You're doing yourself an injustice there, because I think I think just, you know, the small steps you took, the being brave enough to do. I mean, what I love is, you know, the Pilates, and that's how I meet new people, and going back to the yoga, that's how you got to know the culture and met new people and understand the people. So I think it's great. Do you think confidence is something you build once and you've got it forever, or is it something you think you have to keep rebuilding? You
definitely have to keep it. I think if you are in the same situations all the time, if you're still in the same environment, then you have your confidence. If you're just doing the same things for years, then you're confident. But once you're put into a new environment, then you need to rebuild it again. So it depends. If you're still, you know, very comfortable in the life you have, then you have the confidence that you need. But once you are uprooted and then you're put in a new environment, you have to rebuild it again. New situations, new people, anything new, any skill that you don't have, you have to build your confidence.
It's like a lifelong journey, isn't it, as we learn new things. Raman, it's been a really special conversation. Thank you for being so open about what you went through, how you got here, how you've worked your way through it. And I think what I love about Raman's story is that it captures something we've been talking about throughout the series. Confidence isn't a fixed thing. You can have it in one part of your life and lose it in another. You can have it in one country and find it's gone when you step off the plane in a new one. Raman didn't just wait for confidence to come back. She worked at it. She built new relationships, learned new ways of working, proved herself in a new career, and became a mum along the way. That's not just confidence rebuilt, that's confidence earned. We'll see you in the next episode. Until then, remember, confidence isn't something You either have or you don't. It's something that moves, changes and grows, but only if you're willing to work at it. Raman, thank you.